May I say prayer, Brahmaraji?
Please go ahead, Bella.
Om. 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mavit Dvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Narayanam Namastubhyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet.
So we saw yesterday about the Sat Buddhi and the Asat Buddhi. And that the Is Buddhi always remains. So do you want me to read this again? We did this 2 times, I think, right? So let me know if you want me to read this again or we'll move forward. The differences between Sat, Asat and Tuchya. Asat or Mithya and Tuchya, which is Atyanta Abhava. And how objects do not exist independently. They are always dependent on something. And what is that something? It is the cause. So, for example, a pot is dependent on the clay. So, a pot as a word does not just exist, it is dependent on the clay. So, there is no such thing as a clay pot without clay. Let me read this one more time. Okay. Objects do not exist independently. When a pot is made, before it is baked, there is only clay. Thus, once upon a time, the pot was clay. When it became a pot, it was clay in the form of pot. Even though it has been fired, it is nothing but clay. Fired in the sense that it gets heated. Once the pot is made, it is put in the kiln and it is burnt with fire. All that has happened is that the clay now has an added attribute guna, the pot form. This added attribute is what is meant by creation. Creative possibilities are there, but there is no such thing as a clay pot without clay. When we look at anything in this world, we always find that it is a form with a name, depending on some other substantive vastu. A particular form, rupa, is called asat. It has the nature of its substantive, but in itself has no bhava. By the time you see an object, it has already changed. It is never the same in the next moment. It is like seeing a film projected on a white screen. It looks as though someone is standing there, but in fact, the frame is continuously changing. Similarly, the frame in one's mind keeps on changing, exactly like the film. This is what makes it possible for us to see motion. Because what you have seen is already gone, and you do not see it again in the same form, an object has no real bhava. Because what you have seen is already gone, and you do not see it again in the same form, an object has no real bhava. In a flowing river, you do not get the same water at the same place. It is over, gone, flowing constantly in the flow of time. Similarly, any perception we have is conditioned by time and therefore has the nature of being merely an appearance. It is as though there and not really there because it is always changing. It is as though all the time. Very powerful, right? Any perception we have is conditioned by time and therefore has the nature of merely being an appearance. It is as though there and not really there because it is always changing. It is as though all the time. So when we say any perception, it includes all the bundle of the sense organs, which is why the whole world outside, the creative world, is nothing but a perceptive world. And therefore, the whole world in a bundle, if you take, is as though all objects in the world are time bound. When you see an object, that object is not seen by you as an independent object. You always see some other thing along with it. When you see a shirt, for example, you also see cloth. And when you see the cloth, you see a particular material. Thus, you find that the shirt has no existence apart from its cause, karana, the cloth.
Then for us, any asat in front of us, that body forms everything. The current behind that is sat only.
Yeah, there has to be an existential cause, right? So when we see an object, it is not just the object we see, we also see some other thing along with it. For instance, when you see a shirt, you see the cloth. Thus, you find that the shirt has no existence apart from its cause, karana, the cloth. Not only can you not create a shirt without cloth, You cannot imagine one either. Cloth here refers to any material with which the shirt is made. Without cloth, paper, or some other material, it is impossible to make a shirt, even in your imagination. You can imagine an elephant entering your ear by seeing yourself as very big, but you cannot imagine making a shirt without cloth. No object exists by itself apart from its cause. I'm wondering why Swamiji gave this example of a different order here. You can imagine an elephant entering your ear by seeing yourself as very big, but you cannot imagine making a shirt without cloth.
Means you have no limitations for thinking.
Correct, but in what? How is it
Imaginative.
relevant here?
Because what we think is the world. There's no world actually. What we think, it is the world. And all the mind works only because of a thought.
Actually, the imagination has no limit, no.
Limit,
And
that's all.
the cloth has a reality. So that reality, uh, it is not that we can assume something. For a shirt to be there has to be a cloth. So that there are uh, two perspective views of.
It is just like that 6 blind men touching the elephant and telling what elephant is.
But even for shirt, we cannot imagine it shirt without the material.
Material, yes.
So whatever is we are imagining as a big elephant, there also we are imagining. So what is the material there? It is just a perception or a thought.
The cloth is the karanana for the shirt. So it has some base, some for its existence,
But the
and
other
it
example,
has to be there.
elephant.
Yeah, elephant. It isn't just an imagination. It is like you assume something which is not present, which cannot be,
So we are
which is not
imagining
possible.
something there differently, and here we are imagining differently in a shirt. There is a
Yeah,
cause, and
in shirt we are imagining, but there that has some reality to it. Whereas imagining anything which has, like, you can imagine anything like a horn, like a elephant entering, or any other thing.
so that is
Imagination has no
tuchha
bound, no?
vichar. Mm.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. It's only that you can imagine anything in the world. It has no reality, no base.
Right. The thing is here, thank you. It is, you can imagine an elephant entering your ear by seeing yourself as very big, but you cannot imagine making a shirt without cloth. In order to make a shirt, in order to create something, you need a cause. You cannot make a shirt without a cause, without the base, without the substantive. So you need some material, either paper, cloth, whatever, silk. So to make a shirt, you need cloth. So no object exists by itself apart from its cause. So it is, you're right in the sense that the elephant entering the ear, you can imagine. You can imagine a man with horns. All that you can imagine. But in order for an object to be an object, to make make an object, you require a cause to create an object. An object that does not exist independent of something else cannot have the word Sat imputed to it. It can only be called Asat because Sat will be the one upon which the object depends for its bhava. If I remove the cloth, can you wear the shirt? All you will have is the emperor's clothes. There is no such thing as shirt without the material with which it is made. For the word shirt, there is no corresponding object at all. Bhava means it must independently exist, and because the cloth is the bhava, the shirt has no independent substantive status. Nor can you say the cloth with which the shirt is made is Sat because it too depends upon something else. Then what is the real Sat? That which exists by its own glory and does not depend on anything else for its existence is called Sat or Satya. Just because something is a cause does not mean it is Satya. Causes themselves depend on their causes and therefore are also Asat. So, in all these examples of the clay, shirt, the cloth, they're all, in the example, they are the cause, but they themselves have another cause behind. So, they all come under Asat. Why do we see the Sat in the Asat? If everything is Asat, how is it that we see the world as real, as Sat? We say the world is. We do not look at it as something that is not. This is because in every perception there are two buddhis. This is the next level of understanding. So, one level is we understood anything that depends on a cause is asat. Anything that is perceived that is dependent on a cause is asat. And that which exists by itself is sat. Now, why do we see, how do we see that the world, why are we seeing the world as real? Why do we see Sat in the Asat? It's because that every perception, there are two buddhis. Here, buddhi means knowledge, cognition. One buddhi is with reference to the object, and the other is with reference to its Asat buddhi, the is not buddhi. This is not buddhi has to be explained. The problem is that we take the is not as is and get confused. This confusion leads to sukha and dukkha. When we see a pot, there is a pot buddhi, pot cognition. And we say the pot is. That buddhi, cognition, whose object is the pot, undergoes a change similar to the changing frame in a moving film. It is this buddhi that is called asat buddhi. That which does not undergo a change is called sat buddhi. Suppose the pot you are looking at is replaced by another object, a tree. The pot is gone and the tree is there in its place. Previously we said the pot is, now we say the tree is. I will just read this para again. So there are two buddhis, right? Sat buddhi and asat buddhi. One buddhi is with reference to the object and the other is reference to its asat buddhi.
No, one is with the Asat Buddhi means objects with objects, and other is pure. There is no object there. That is for only Sat. Means he says the cause behind that. What is Sat?
See, there are two buddhis here. Buddhi means knowledge. One buddhi is with reference to the object, and the other is with reference to its asat buddhi, the is not buddhi. This is not buddhi has to be explained. The problem is that we take the is not as is and get confused. This confusion leads to sukha and dukkha. So when we see a pot, so the first buddhi is what? The pot buddhi, with reference to the object. We say the pot is. That buddhi, cognition whose object is the pot, undergoes a change similar to the changing frame in a moving film. It is this buddhi that is called asat buddhi. That which does not undergo a change is called sat buddhi. This, I don't know, for me it seems a little bit of it's a bit
Means
confusing.
once we see the pot buddhi, then the tree buddhi, whatever the object, isn't it? Means our perception, every time the object come and we see that that is what is not, we feel that is, tree is. I think so.
Yeah. It is this buddhi that is called asat buddhi. That which does not undergo a change is called the sat buddhi. This thing I didn't quite understand is that buddhi, cognition, whose object is the pot, undergoes a change similar to the changing frame in a moving film. So what it say, what maybe this implies is that cognition keeps changing, just like the changing frame in the movie, in the moving film. Because at one point you're seeing the object, and next when that goes, another object comes. That which does not undergo a change is called the sat buddhi. Suppose the pot you are looking at is replaced by another object, a tree. The pot is gone and the tree is there in its place. Previously, we said the pot is, and now we say the tree is. If we analyze these two cognitions, we can see that the is buddhi never goes. The pot goes because it is asat, and the sat that is always there is now with the tree. When the tree buddhi goes,
So that isness is there, no? Is.
yeah, the branch buddhi may be there, and when the branch buddhi is gone, leaf buddhi is there. When the leaf buddhi is gone, chlorophyll buddhi is there, and when the chlorophyll buddhi is gone, particle buddhi is there. When particle buddhi is gone, whatever buddhi that is left will still be there. What is it that remains? Sat. That is always there. Is always is. Therefore, it is called Sat, that which does not change. Whereas the object whose buddhi changes is called Asat. The object is Asat because the buddhi keeps changing. We recognize it differently each time it changes. In every perception, then there are two buddhis, the object buddhi and the is buddhi. When we say blue pot, Neela Ghataha, both words indicate the same object. The object that is blue is pot, An object that is pot is blue. Similarly, when I say, please meet Mr. So and so, the musician, both Mr. So and so and the musician are one and the same object. When we say Arjuna Pandavaha, there is only one person, Arjuna, and he is a Pandava. In all these situations, there is a substantive adjective relationship. The word blue is an adjective to the pot in the expression blue pot. However, this is not so when we say the existent pot or this is a pot. Here it seems as though the isness is an adjective to the pot. It is not correct. The pot is the adjective to existence. The potness qualifies isness. So the whole paragraph is about how we see Sat in Asat, right? Why do we see the Sat in the Asat? So here, just like how the blue pot, blue is the adjective qualifying the pot. Here, when we say there is a pot, the is not qualifying the pot. The pot is qualifying the is. We see the whole world as an adjective to the existence, isness. The pot is the adjective to existence. The potness qualifies isness. Although it seems as though the isness is an adjective to the pot, that is not correct. And this is the where the confusion is. The confusion is we superimpose the is not on the is. So here there is Sat Buddhi, meaning that the pot exists, and there is also pot Buddhi, that is the object Buddhi, which are two different things. To say this is a pot definitely implies isness, since the word is used. There are therefore always two buddhis, Sat Buddhi and Asat Buddhi, object Buddhi. Only Asat Buddhi, object Buddhi changes, meaning that the existent Sat Buddhi is conditioned by an object as its attribute. Is always there. When the tree is in the form of a tree. Similarly, is can be in the form of a pot, a person, a nose, a body, or anything. Existence is also in the form of thought. Therefore, if there is no thought, what is there is existence minus thought. See, this is existence is also in the form of thought. So, thought is also a form, just like how the pot is. It's a form. So, therefore, when there is no thought, what is there is existence minus thought. Existence minus the body. Existence minus the world is existence. That existence, Sat, is always there, not affected by any addition to or subtraction from it.
So if you think every object is an adjective to your awareness, then that is the Sat Buddhi. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Every name and form is like an adjective to existence. So it is as though it's like the blue pot. That is why Gurudev once said, Enlightenment is very simple. All you have to do is see everybody without a face. When you see, the problem is we see everything, and we what we see we think is real. And we get so caught up in the name and form. But when you see everybody without a face, then automatically all your raga dveshas or the fear, bhaya, all that will just disappear. The moment you see a face, then there is this flood of thoughts and feelings and emotions that come up.
You feel separate. When you feel separate, that face is other than me. Okay? When other comes, no, then there is fear. What he will think, what he's saying, what everything, we start depending on their thought. So when the substratum is ease, which is made up of the thing, the consciousness is. It is ease in me, it is ease in you, it is ease in that, in that, other things. So the easiness is common. That consciousness is common. So if you see the consciousness, whatever be the form, you see everyone is the same. That is what is not. We are something, we have to become nothing, and nothing to everything. That is what the steps. We see everyone as the same in perception. The object might be there. That is what the existence is there. The form only changes. And form is created by something, by the thought. This is blue, this is this is A, B, C, D, sound. And give nama, that is sound. And with this sound, it comes rupa also. Apple, A for apple. So when A is there, we imagine apple. Form is there. Nama rupa. Forget the nama rupa. The is exist. And all nama rupa, as earlier in one paragraph Swamiji has told, is not outside. Actually, the object is not outside. The object is in the eyes. The eyes are seeing it. Okay, like camera. You take a shoot. The object is outside, but it is picturized in the camera, in the film. So your eyes are seeing the object is outside only, but that picture of that object is already in that mind, in our mind. Okay, we remember that. That is what is memory. So now we say a sound, we say a name, and we say the object. That picture of that object is framed in our mind, in our memory. Then again we see the other object, same object, which is changing, because the change is very, very subtle. In the Jada Vastu, in other Vastu, it is this one. So the another frame, when you see, that is different, but we have the memory of that and you connect it. So therefore that continuity, like animation in the picture, every moment that picture changes, because of the memory, it appears to be still, that as a picture only. Even the objects are like that. That is what they say. So the animation happens inside your mind, not outside. So it is just like a seeing picture, the object of the Jada Vastu in the mind. So that is, it's picture only. So it go on changes. But what remains is what you are. Not the eyes, not the, those are all also the objects only. Like camera is an object. So in that one paragraph, he's written that, you know, we see the object and we assume that object is inside. So that is past. And we relate that past to this again, the present, like animation in happens. It changes everything. Every day, every moment it is changing. So every moment that picture is happening. And when you connect all that, it is moving. That animation happens. So you feel it is live. So it is a vastu only which changes. And what doesn't change is you. So your thought makes it change. So when you stop the thought, you are still. Like when you sleep, you don't see anything. So when you still your thought, everything is gone, mithya. You can read that paragraph the earlier, I think.
Moment is deep and vast. Everything is happening. Present moment is deep and vast. So everything is happening that in that moment.
That moment only. So when the thought, you know, when the thought comes, everything happens in the thought mind only. So when you still the mind, you are in the present. Otherwise, the mind is moving always. This is animation, object animation, the world animation. So what you see, the world is what you see by the eyes. Everything is changing. Every cell is changing. Everything is changing. What remains is ease. Therefore, meditation is very, 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 very important to still your mind.
Very beautifully explained, Sureshji. So regret and anxiety, that is past and future, are repetitive.
Repetitive, yes, that's what.
Repetitive, just like this, the frame that keeps on changing. Goes on and on and on, right?
Yes.
So Maya is both past and future.
Future.
Is akin to Maya. And then the present moment is what is, that existence.
Yes. And this is all clicked by the thought itself, only one thought in the mind. And you still that thought. That's what we do in the Sahas Samadhi. With that mantra, that repetitiveness is gone. Manana trayate mantra. Means that by uttering the mantra, you're stopping the manana, means repetitiveness. With that mantra, the repetitiveness of the thoughts is stopped, and you become still, mind becomes still, you enjoy the easiness of yours.
Which paragraph did you want to repeat?
That existence, that existence.
Yeah, existence is also in the form of thought. Therefore, if there is no thought, what is there is existence minus thought. Existence minus the body. Existence minus the world is existence. That existence, Sat, is always there, not affected by any addition to or subtraction.
That is
The
what
is
Purna
buddhi.
Pada.
Yeah. The is buddhi always remains. The way in which the Sat buddhi is conditioned is what undergoes change, whereas the Sat buddhi itself never changes. Therefore, Shankara says in his Bhashya that the object of the thought, this is a pot, is asat because it is always changing, never remains the same. The Sat Buddhi, on the other hand, is Satya because whatever that Sat is, it does not undergo any change. A doubt being possible here, Shankara clarifies the point in the Bhashya by raising and answering an objection.
Excuse me, Brahmaraji.
Yes.
One more paragraph you go beyond, I think. The last page, or there is one more. There he has written that.
What did you want?
Subtraction. One more. Just go, scroll back. Still go there. Still. One more paragraph. Still scroll down. Scroll down. Lot. Down. Objects not exist. Still down. The last, still go down. Still. Existent and non-existence.
What is it
no,
you
I'll
wanted to?
That which I explained, no, animation. He had explained it nicely here in that.
Yeah, that was over here. This is over here.
Movement, I think. Yeah, when we look at anything in this world, that we can read. Thank you.
When we look at anything in this world, we always find that it is a form with a name, depending on some other substantive vastu. A particular form, rupa, is called asat. It has the nature of its substantive, but in itself has no bhava. By the time you see an object, it has already changed. It is never the same in the next moment. It is like seeing a film projected on a white screen. It looks as though someone is standing there, but in fact, the frame is continuously changing. Similarly, the frame in one's mind keeps on changing exactly like the film. This is what makes it possible for us to see motion.
This is what I explained.
Because what you have seen is already gone, and you do not see it again in the same form. An object has no real bhava. In a flowing river, you do not get the same water at the same place. It is over, gone, flowing constantly in the flow of time.
So this is very concisely done it. If you explain it correctly, that eye is like a camera. So when you take a picture, the photo, the object is outside or inside of the camera? It is inside the camera, not outside. Similarly, our eyes are like camera. It is an object again. And it is seeing it and it is picturizing it every moment. And every moment that object is changing. And every moment we are seeing the different frame. And when it becomes fast, it is such a very sensitive. It is when you move the film, it appears to be stable. That is what is happening in the world. That is animation. Real animation. In the world also. So that object, what we are seeing, is changing and changing and changing. But the stillness and all that existence we see is a same like in the picture, in the cinema hall, what we see. It is actually happening. We feel it, we may feel it. That is very slow because the revolution is very slow and all that. But when we still our thought, and all this is happening because of our thought only, our mind only, not because of the other's mind or anything mind. There are so many minds. And what we think is the world. Suppose the stock market is there. I don't think at all about the stock market. So that world is not at all there for me.
How can we relate the two examples? Like Buddha says the man is not the same when he comes back. That example, and the river is flowing continuously.
Man also, no? Man is also an object. You are thinking it as completely subject. No.
And for river?
No, it's like everywhere the cell is changing daily. The skins are changing. You're breathing, every breath is changing. And that breath, when it touches the brain or something, that triggers the thought. So when you see the breath and make the body still, the thoughts are stopped. Then you don't see the world. I think I made it clear. Sorry. I don't know how far I made it clear. It's a very, very, you can think of. And This paragraph really, that which we just read, that gives that idea.
So we'll continue. A doubt being possible here, Shankara clarifies the point in the Bhashya by raising and answering an objection, Purva Paksha. Suppose a pot is gone, destroyed, and the pot buddhi, ghata buddhi is gone. You say the pot was, and now the pot is no more. The pot being destroyed, the pot buddhi goes, and the pot proves to be asat. But along with the destroyed pot, does not the is buddhi, sat buddhi also go? Shankara's response is that the is buddhi never goes. Is always there. We say the pot is destroyed. The destroyed pot is. The pot is no more, etc. Because something else is, the is buddhi never goes. Only the conditioned sat buddhi is gone. The sat buddhi, the exists buddhi, is conditioned by a particular name and form, nama rupa. And when the pot is destroyed, that nama rupa is gone. But the sat buddhi is not gone. It is there to join anything. The is buddhi can join the broken pot. The broken pot is, or anything else is. Only asat keeps on changing. The varieties of objects seen by you keep on changing, while you remain the same person. That is, existence remains. It never goes away. If this aspect of the teaching is not clear, you could conclude that Atma, the Sat Vastu, is zero. This is what Buddha concluded. Shunya. He says everything is Shunya. Whereas, who is that is saying it is Shunya? Who is that is saying, who's seeing? That is what Shankara said. That is you. The Atma alone is, and everything else is Namarupa. Only an addition to that Sat Buddhi. An addition that does not bring about any addition. So, like in that adjective example, Nila Ghataha, every object that we see, anything that we perceive, is an adjective to the isness, is an adjective to existence. An addition that does not bring about any addition, because it is changing and it is not permanent. The isness remains irrespective, it is full, it is whole. Just as the pot form does not bring about an addition to the clay, so too the addition of a nama rupa to the sat buddhi does not bring about any change to it. This is the vision. The sat buddhi is always qualified by an attribute, is in the form of a tree, is in the form of a pot, is in the form of something, and that form keeps on changing. That which changes is asat, mithya, whereas sat remains ever the same. And what is that sat? Sat buddhi is existence consciousness. Sat chit. Existence is consciousness. Consciousness, the sat buddhi, always joins with something in the form of knowledge and reveals. For example, the pot is. When the pot is gone, the tree is. When the tree is gone, something else is. When everything is gone, I am. Aham asmi.
Ease remains.
I'm repeating this last paragraph. And what is that Sat? Sat Buddhi is existence, consciousness. Existence is consciousness. Consciousness, the Sat Buddhi, always joins with something in the form of knowledge and reveals. For example, the pot is. When the pot is gone, the tree is. When the tree is gone, something else is. When everything is gone, I am. Aham asmi. This is what happens in meditation. This is what happens in deep sleep. But the moment that awareness comes in, that conscious, that knowledge aspect comes in, then it joins that. See, Sat Buddhi always joins with something in the form of knowledge and reveals. So when we wake up from sleep, in deep sleep, you're in that state of just that existence. You are, that's it. There is nothing else. You're not connected with anything else. That is why you do not even know where you're sleeping. Whether you're sleeping on the floor, on the bed, that is completely oblivious to you. But the moment you wake up, there is that knowledge principle that comes in and that joins with something. That awareness joins with the body. It joins with the room you're in, with the place you're in. And then there is that recognition of the Nama Rupa, and then the whole the shift happens. From just being existent, you start perceiving the whole, perceiving the world. And retrieving from that, retrieving from the world of objects, retrieving from the outside. Bahirmukha, you go antarmukha, you go within. Then you realize that I am, just that I am. So we just managed to stop where we stopped yesterday, but that doesn't matter. Our understanding as we go along is important. So anyone wants to share anything before we close? Tomorrow we'll start from consciousness between two thoughts. Okay. This is that Madhav, what is that? Antare Madhava. Radhika, Antare Madhava. That is what we'll see tomorrow.
Knowledge and consciousness reveals. That is the statement, no?
Mm.
In the sleep, everything is gone, but you remain. Ease remains. When you get up, again those memory, again it starts. Again, my body, my this, this world, this, that. So the world. Now again the world comes. And whatever we think, that world is there. So in death, what happens? This whole Chaitanya is gone, no? That life force. But Atma remains. So the repetition of that means you are still. You are with ease, not with the world. Therefore, moksha is in there. You are there, but world is not there. So there is no Jarma again for you. But you again attach to the world, even after the death, again you have to come to enjoy it if you have desire. And that desire has to be fulfilled. So you take another body, because that body is, there is a self-age for the body, for everything, for matter. It changes. So the body also changes. So the self period, what you call, for the body is this one, and after it becomes it's a death. So in another form, it takes it because of your desire, because of your thought that I want it, I want that, and attachment to the body and all other things starts. Then again, you repeat. But if you stop that desires, you stop, I want it, this, the whole world, knowing that it is mithya, then only Atma remains. There is no birth for you. That is moksha. Simply said, but it's, I hope I made it understand. Thank you. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. So there is one I think some of you would know Dr. Prabhakar Rao. There is something relevant to what we are learning here in chapter 2. He's talking about the Sankhya Sutras, Sankhya Karika and the Sankhya Sutras. So I'll just post the link to that. There are 2 episodes till now, first and the second. Those of you who are interested, please listen to that. There is a lot of connect between what is talked there, Sankhya Sutras, as well as what Krishna is telling Arjuna as become Nistrai Gunyo Bhava. To get to this state of being with the Sat, right? So I will post it in the group. Those of you are interested, please take a look at that. Yeah. We'll stop here today. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.